Cool, guys. Let's get started. So this is class 2 of week 1. In order to sort of recollect whatever we did yesterday, let's just have a quick recap. First of all, we ended up with saying that consensus mechanisms is a way for everyone to agree on something. Okay. Um, that is the way in which we ensure that if there is a transaction that happens across the network, everybody agrees that this transaction happened. Again, that something is a transaction. And everybody agrees also if a transaction is valid or invalid. That is important because once everybody agrees that a transaction is valid, then nobody's going to go back and say, oh, but this money did not come to me or whatever. And secondly, when everyone adds it to their ledgers, then that means it has sort of been cemented into everybody's like everybody agrees that this transaction is true. uh, Again, if my voice breaks or something like that, just like message me or somebody unmute and tell me. Okay. So moving on. One thing which we should make a clear differentiation about before we start this class is the difference between a miner and a client. That is something which we had a few questions about yesterday. So let's clear that out once and for all. A miner is a person who wants to mine or create blocks. As we said yesterday, a block is a set of transactions. He wants to work and create, basically do that proof of work puzzle in order to create those blocks and add them to the chain, add them to everybody's ledger. Whereas a client is someone who just wants to transact. He just wants to send money from himself to his friend or something like that. That is all. He doesn't care about creating a incentivized profit or something from this. This is all just another way of payments for him. Secondly, a miner does these things by performing cryptographic functions. So for that to be done, that person needs to download whatever cryptographic functions need to be run and everything onto that computer on which that person is mining from. Whereas the client, since it's not going to perform any cryptography, it can be done from a very lightweight app from their mobile or whatever as well. They don't need all of that software and everything to run that. Finally, because all of this mining takes a lot of computation power, they need big resources, big computers. We'll be talking about what GPUs are and what ASICs are, how they work later in this course. Whereas a client doesn't need that computational power. They can just do it from their mobile phone because it's just like them sending money. It's just like you having a Google Pay app and you're just sending money from one person to the other. Finally, the point of mining is to profit from this, whereas a client just wants to see if their transaction has gone through or not. And a miner has to keep their ledger updated at all times. That is because as soon as one new block is mined, they have to update it and then they have to start mining for the next block. Whereas the client really doesn't care. Whenever they make a transaction, they can just see from that point onwards in the next a few blocks if their transaction has been accepted into the chain or not. And finally, this is also important. They can also transact as a client. So it's a two-way thing. You can be a miner plus client, but a pure client can't do mining openly. Like they have to download all of this data and things like that, and then only they can start mining. So that is just a distinction I wanted to make. Now, this will be the new structure of people. Yesterday, we had 4 people, A, B, C, and U. And B was always trying to break the system. Now we are going to look at it from this perspective. There are 2 clients and there are 3 miners. And we are going to look at various scenarios about what happens when some miners are evil, what happens when majority miners are evil, things like that. So why do we need miners in the first place? This is a very important question. And this needs to be answered because we'll fundamentally find out why all of this is even happening, why there is a fuss. So the first thing is to secure the blockchain network. At the end of the day, somebody will put money into this and send money using this because we believe that this is a secure thing. The reason we go to banks, the reason why we put FDs in, let's say, an HDFC Bank or something like that, is because we believe that later down the line in the future, if I am to cash in that FD, then I will get the money back. That is security. And security in the blockchain network is something which the miners sort of create. On creation of this security, this layer of security, they are a service provider. They are providing us a service of security, and for that reason, they are compensated for this. And that is what the mining reward is, which we'll talk about. Again, just wanted to emphasize that this is a peer-to-peer thing. There is no centralized server somewhere which is doing it. There are multiple miners across the world, and everybody has a full copy of the Bitcoin ledger. Every single transaction right from the very start, every single miner has that. For that reason, they are able to do the validation, and they're able to check the balance of every single transaction that goes through, because they know all of the account balances, everything which has happened since the very start. So what do miners exactly do? Miners do two major things. The first thing is verify incoming transactions. Remember the verify function, which takes the message, the signature, and also it takes the public key, and it spits out true or false. That is what they do. They verify incoming transactions, and that is done to two things. First is check balance, and then verify using the verify function. So those two things is what it does first, and then it mines the block. This is what we're going to talk about mainly today. What exactly it means when you say mine the block. Okay, is everybody clear till here? This is sort of like a recap of yesterday, because from now onwards the slides are going to get into sort of new territory. So I want to just be sure that everybody's clear till here. Otherwise, yeah.
Just a quick doubt.
Yeah.
So, can you explain like what's the difference? Like, what is peer to peer? Because the reason I asked this question is that in many centralized exchanges app like WazirX, so there is a separate option of P2P exchange and normal exchange. So I just wanted to know what's the difference.
Okay. So good question again. This The sentence of peer to peer is in context of Bitcoin's transactions being peer to peer. What that means is, if I were to send you money, then I am sending it like from A to B, and I am a peer, and a miner who is going to verify it. That miner is also is a peer on the network. That miner is not some company like Binance or WazirX which is going to do it for you. Like Binance or WazirX might have some mining rigs which are set up somewhere, but there is no affiliated Binance rig which is doing it for you. Like, you are not going through Binance to do this. There is some random anonymized node which is going to validate your transaction. That is what peer to peer means is in this context. In the exchange context, what it means is you can either do it. All of these exchanges, these decentralized exchanges or DEXs, what they essentially have is they have a way to swap your currencies. So if you were to, let's say, you wanted to buy solid like some Ethereum, and you wanted to sell your Bitcoin. So what you can either do is you can either uh, let's say you want to trade in one Ethereum for one Bitcoin. Okay, like you want to like make that trade. I don't know how it's possible at the current prices, but whatever. So what they have is they have something called a trading a swapping pool. So what you can do is you can directly swap this for this, and using that, that can be done using the logic which Binance servers have put on top of the Bitcoin layer. So to summarize, this is the Bitcoin ecosystem, and on top of that, there is Binance servers, and they are running some logic on top of this, which is sort of helping the transaction go a bit faster or something like that. Now you can either opt into this or you can completely opt out of this. The advantage of opting out is you get a more secure thing. You are getting what we can say a vanilla experience of Bitcoin. You are not going to go through any of these layers on top of this. But the downside is sometimes you may have to pay more fees. It might be a bit slower and things like that. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Okay, so basically P2P just mean that it is no centralized authorities there. It's just
Yeah,
another
yeah.
miner who's verifying the transaction instead of Binance or WazirX.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Binance or WazirX aren't verifying it per se. What they're doing is they're just facilitating some other logic on top of this. Like, for example, if uh, a better example is like this: I want to pay you 10 rupees, and you want to pay somebody else 10 rupees. Then, what WazirX might do or Binance might do on their backend is they might just short circuit your transaction and just show one transaction saying, I am paying C 10 rupees. That way, those two transactions don't go through, just one transaction goes through. And in your Binance wallet, it will show that you paid X and then X paid Y. You paid B and B paid C, 10 rupees. But on the actual blockchain, at the end of the day, just those 10 rupees went. So that extra logic added on top of that decreases the transaction time because two transactions aren't going through, only one transaction is going through. But at the same time, you're not getting the sort of vanilla experience. Difference between verifying and creation, we will get to that, but not everyone can afford mining rates. That's why we need Binance. Yes. Yeah, sort of.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a doubt. Like the miners have the copy of every transaction, or the block that is in blockchain have the copy of all the transactions?
We'll get to that, but to answer your question, mining, every single miner has a copy of every single transaction that has happened right from the very start, right from 2009. Every single transaction the miner has, and not just one miner. Every single miner has that.
So the block in blockchain does not contain information about the transaction that has happened?
We'll get to that. That is literally the next slide. So the block structure, this is what you're asking. So a block is a set of the transactions which are happening. So if there are 10,000 transactions which have happened till now, a block might contain 10 transactions out of that. Okay. And there might be 1,000 blocks which are connected to each other of those 10,000 transactions. I think that is like amply clear. So what does the block contain? The block first contains a block number. Is it the 500th block? Is it the 700th block, etc.? The second thing it contains is a timestamp at what time the block was created. Very, again, simple. Then it contains the previous block's hash. The previous block hash, we explained this in the last class. It is the hash of all of the contents of that previous block. Then it has something called a nonce. This is something which we'll get into in the next slide. And it contains data, the transactions which are happening only in this block. So these 10 transactions are in this transactions box. And then it contains the current hash. Now the current hash is created from all of this. Okay. Now, if you guys remember, a hash is created from its inputs, right? So if I give this input, this input, this input, this input, and this input, and we can put it in a function like a hash function, and we will get a finite value out of this. Now, if you look at it, block number is something which doesn't change. Timestamp doesn't change. Your previous hash doesn't change because like it was created by the previous block. And these transactions are also unchanging in the sense that when I pick up 10 transactions, then those 10 transactions I will not modify, because again, that's the point. You don't want to modify the transactions which are being done. Otherwise you're breaking the system. So these four things are unchanging. So how do you change the block hash without like touching these four? That's why you have a variable called a nonce. A nonce is just a value which can take any number from 0 to like the largest int size. So int ka maximum value. What this does is you can start varying this nonce, and every time you change a nonce, it completely changes the block hash. And for that, we'll get to this example. So we have a block here. Let's say this is the first block which we are creating, and we have data like A pays B 5 rupees. That's right. Okay. And you can see that this nonce is something which we can change. So I can make it 1 and then the hash changes. Then I can make it 2, then the hash changes. I can make it 3 and the hash changes. Again, for the sake of simplicity, we haven't put the timestamp and the previous hash here, but assume kar lo that this is also a part of it. And those are unchanging. The only thing we can change here is the nonce. And as the nonce changes, the values in the hash are changing. Clear? Any doubts here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What is timestamp?
Timestamp is the time at which this block has been created. So the timestamp, if I were to start creating a block right now, the timestamp would be 9:47 p.m. Sunday, 25th April, 2021. So it contains everything from date, time, down to the seconds. So I don't know what second it is right now, but hours, minutes, second, everything. Cool. I'll move ahead. You guys keep asking the doubts in the chat here because like last time, I don't want to extend it too much beyond 10:30. So how is the nonce calculated? There is something called a difficulty. So a difficulty is the number of zeros which we have in this hash at the start, okay, at the very start. So as you can see, if I were to mine the block, then what happens is there are these 4 zeros at the start. That means the difficulty of this block is 4. That's all you need to know. The difficulty of a block is the number of zeros it has in the hash at the very start. So there is a predefined difficulty, which is the number of zeros which are at the start. Now, what a miner does is they start looking at all of these transactions here. So if I start with 1 again, and I see that this is the transaction that is in this block. For the sake of simplicity, there's only one transaction in this block, and the block number is this. And what I do is I, as a miner, start brute force checking one after the other what nonce creates a hash which has 4 zeros at the start. So I started with 1, didn't work. I started with 2, didn't work. 3 doesn't work. 4 doesn't work. 5 doesn't work. And I start looping through this up to basically infinity. I start from 0 and go up to infinity. And in this process, what I'm doing is I am mining the block. So when I hit mine here, what it does is it simulates it and it creates this nonce. That means that 11574 is the number I had to hit in order to make these first 4 numbers 0. Now, if I were to, let's say, change this to B pays C rupees 10. Now, in this case, the hash has completely changed again. There are four zeros are not at the start of this hash again. So what I will have to do is I'll have to start from 1 again if I want to mine this block. So 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now, again, when I hit mine, what it will do is it will loop through all of these numbers. And it found that 44653 is the number which creates 4 zeros at the start of this hash. That is called mining. It is finding a nonce which is going to create a set number of zeros at the start. And that is the difficulty. So this is a brute force thing. You cannot use logic. There is no optimized way to do this. And that is because of hash functions. In the last lecture, I talked about how changing a small thing in a hash function creates in the input creates a huge difference in the output of the hash function. What we called as avalanche, the avalanche chaos theory thing. So as you can see here, right now 44653 is the nonce. Now, even if I change it to 44654, the hash has completely changed, completely. And that is why you have to do brute force. There is no logical way to find this fast. Higher difficulty means higher time to mine. There was a very good post I found. If there are 4 zeros at the start, then the nonce can be found usually in the first 500,000 numbers. And it takes a worst case of like 15 minutes to do. If there are 5, then 4 hours. If there is 6, then 3 days. And then look at the way it exponentially increases. If you have 15 zeros at the start, now again, this is very simplified here. But if you're doing this on your local computer, 15 digits zeros, then a nonce can be this high. And the time estimate it could take on average is this much, which is insane. Like the way this curve increases is exponential. So that is why difficulty increases like this. So higher difficulty means higher time to mine. And once found, this block can be published. So once I find this nonce, so now it's going to mine. Once I find this nonce, then I can tell the world that, okay, I have found the solution to this particular block having these 2 transactions and this block number and this timestamp and this previous hash. And when I do find this nonce, what I do is I add a sort of block reward to this and I publish it to the world. And now what everybody else does is they just check if this particular block is correct and they add it to their chain. And then that's how that block has been mined. Finally, difficulty is adjusted over time. What does this mean? This means that right now, there are 4 zeros at the start. But as you know, in 2009, computers weren't that powerful. Today, computers are like almost 10 to 20 times more powerful than they were in 2009. Then how does it not become a thing where now blocks are mined every second? That is because this difficulty, the number of zeros at the start, increases over time. So over some days, they might make it 5, they might make it 6. This is all algorithmic. What they do is they look at the number of blocks which are published every 2 weeks, and they find the average of that. And if that average is more than 10 minutes, then they decrease the difficulty. And if the average is less than 10 minutes, then they increase the difficulty. 10 minutes is just an arbitrary number. So that is how they do it. And that is how this ensures that the time estimates and everything match up. So this is the slide. And now I know there are going to be some doubts. So I'll go to the doubts. Can you repeat once for nonce? Wait, I'll do that later. I will do this from the very start if we have to. Hash function and nonce are different. Yeah, so hash function is a function which takes in an input and gives out an output. Okay, and all it does is it sort of scrambles the input to the output. A nonce is a part of the block which we are using when we are creating the hash. Sorry, when we are creating, when we are creating the hash. Does nonce play a role in sending and receiving from one man to the other? No, I will get to this. Is nonce same as what 3 proof of work? Yes. Anusha, yes. Nonce is what 3 blue, 1 brown calls the proof of work part. Yes. So basically, mining means finding a nonce for which there are 4 zeros at the start. Is that all? Yes, mining basically means that a miner is going to go through every single number from 0 to infinity and find a number for which there are X number of zeros at the start. The number of zeros increases over time because difficulty. Is Bitcoin halving based on difficulty? Yes, that is exactly right. So what happens is, okay, actually, no, Bitcoin halving is not based on difficulty. We'll get to that. We'll get to that next week when we do cryptocurrencies. Ananya, does nonce change with timestamp? No, nonce is an independent entity. So what we are looking at in this block is, we are looking at the block number. That is a dependent thing. It is dependent on the block which came before. Like if the block before which came before was 9, this block is necessarily number 10. Timestamp is dependent on what time it has started creation. Then previous hash is dependent on the previous block. Transactions are dependent on the people who are creating the transactions. I send you 5 rupees, then this transaction will be added here. And block hash is what's created from this. So nonce is the only independent entity which is controlled only by the miner who is mining this block. Is nonce in a way defining availability of the block? Yes, in a way. So nonce is generated randomly based on difficulty, right? Yes. Cool.
Excuse me, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what basically miner does is he's trying to find a nonce because rest of the data we have like block number, message, and everything. So what basically mining is finding the nonce, particular nonce for the block.
Yes. So we are finding a nonce.
Can like the block is, yeah, like a block is not generated. So how are we having transactions in that? Like after finding the nonce, the block is registered. So how are we initially having the transactions in that?
In this case, block number 10 is the one which is yet to be published into the world. Like, अगर समझो 9 blocks है अभी ledger में and 10th block बन रहा है, then we don't have the block hash yet, right? That is because ये 10th block अब तक publish हुआ नहीं है, ये बना नहीं है. So that is why these things we have. This also we have because transactions, there are some transactions which have happened, which we want to add to a block and which we want to add to everybody's ledger. And for that reason, we are doing this whole proof of work thing. That is why we are doing all of this mining, right?
मतलब नॉन्स मिलने के बाद वो जब कंफर्म हो जाएगा उसके अंदर ट्रांजैक्शंस इंक्लूड हो जाएंगे.
हाँ, you can put it that way. Transactions अपने पास है अभी, समझो नेटवर्क पे 5 ट्रांजैक्शंस हो गए, तो हम लोगों ने ट्रांजैक्शंस इस पार्ट में डाल दिए ब्लॉक के. फिर प्रीवियस हैश अपने पास पहले से ही है, टाइम स्टैम्प भी है और ब्लॉक नंबर भी है. तो नाउ व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर चेकिंग द नॉन्स एंड सीइंग कौन सा नॉन्स ऐसा है जिससे ब्लॉक हैश का डिफिकल्टी गिवन डिफिकल्टी के इक्वल है.
ओके समझा.
Okay. Is nonce a way of defining? So nonce is generated randomly based on difficulty. For a specific block number and specific set of transactions, can there only be one block? If so, why do we need nonce? And if we are going to have only one block anyways? No, there is not only one block. I'll get to what happens. So basically, sometimes what happens is there are conflicting blocks. We'll get to that. I will move on now because last time just said बहुत extend हो जाएगा. So how nonce is calculated? Okay. How is a block mined? Okay, this is a flow of how a block is mined. This might clarify a lot of things for some of you guys. So there is a pool of transactions across the world. Okay, transactions are happening every day, every minute, and there is a pool of transactions where all of these transactions get added. Okay, so for the sake of it, let's say there are 5 transactions in this transaction pool right now. Okay, then what a miner will do is a miner will take these 5 transactions and he will start verifying them one after the other. So verify का वो जो v वाला function था, that person will do that and check if true or false है या नहीं सारे. तो उसमें से पकड़ लो कि 5 में से एक कौन सा तो ट्रांजैक्शन गलत निकला, तो he will discard that one transaction and ये 4 ट्रांजैक्शन रखेगा and वो ब्लॉक में डाल देगा. Okay, so he verifies each transaction and then once verified he adds them to the block. तो ये अब 4 आ गए उस ब्लॉक में. ओके, वो जो ब्लॉक का वो ट्रांजैक्शंस वाला पार्ट था उसमें वो आ गए ब्लॉक्स. एंड अपने पास ऑलरेडी प्रीवियस ब्लॉक का हैश था, ब्लॉक नंबर था, अपने पास बस नॉन्स नहीं है, ट्रांजैक्शंस आ गए. नाउ वी ऐड अ माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड. Now this is where we were asking about those mined functions, those mined transactions where there is no sender, there's only a receiver. What I do is पांचवा transaction मैं खुद का ही डाल दूंगा कि if I am the miner, I receive some mining reward. Okay, that mining reward is again governed by the blockchain. So right now the mining reward is I think 6.25 Bitcoin. मतलब अगर कोई एक ब्लॉक माइन करता है तो वो ये ऐसे फ्री का ट्रांजैक्शन डाल सकता है एज अ कॉम्पेंसेशन फॉर द सर्विस ही इज डूइंग कि ये मुझे अब पैसे मिलेंगे इसेंशियली. तो ही एड्स द माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड. फिर वो चालू कर देते हैं नॉन्स का कैलकुलेशन. तो व्हाट वी विल डू हियर इज अपने इसमें अपन 4 ट्रांजैक्शन डाल देंगे. तो A pays B C pays B again ₹5, B pays E ₹2 and ये मेरा ट्रांजैक्शन है. I माइनर रिसीव रुपये मतलब 6.25 बिटकॉइन डाल दूंगा फॉर द टाइम. ओके, यू कैन सी दीज 5 ट्रांजैक्शंस. उसमें से ये ट्रांजैक्शन मैंने उठाया कहाँ से, ट्रांजैक्शन पूल से, ये भी ट्रांजैक्शन पूल से, ये भी ट्रांजैक्शन पूल से, ये भी ट्रांजैक्शन पूल से. ये ट्रांजैक्शन मैंने ऐड किया खुद का. दिस इज माइनिंग. आई हैव नाउ माइंड दिस 6.25 बिटकॉइन. They have appeared out of thin air. वो जो लास्ट क्लास में बोला था कि there is no sender, there is only a receiver which is me who received these bitcoin. This is a mined transaction. And now I have previous hash, I have timestamp, I have block, I have, now all I need is the nonce. And as soon as I find a nonce which has the difficulty of 4 in our case or whichever difficulty अभी system में है, then that means I can publish this into the world. तो अब मैं करूंगा mine हो रहा है. As you can see, for some reason अभी थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा है. And we found a nonce. ये nonce हमें मिल गया जहां पे ये 4 ट्रांजैक्शन और मेरा ट्रांजैक्शन इंक्लूडेड है. Now what I will do is I will publish this block into the world. I will say कि hey guys, this is a block of these 5 transactions and I have found the nonce and this is the hash. So broadcast once if nonce is found. And now other miners will check if block is valid. तो अदर माइनर्स ब्लॉक चेक कैसे कर सकते हैं? उनके पास ये सारा पहले से ही डेटा है, ये बस डेटा कॉपी पेस्ट कर लेंगे. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल ये निकाल दिया, बस यहाँ पे कॉपी पेस्ट कर लेंगे और देखेंगे कि ये ब्लॉक का हैश मैच हो रहे हैं. एंड इफ वैलिड, इफ दिस मैचेस, इफ द हैश ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स मैच, then that means that you can add it to the ledger. मतलब सब लोग जो previous example में जो सारे लोग हैं, सारे miners और सारे जो भी clients हैं who are looking at the ledger, they will all add these 5 transactions to their ledger. ये अब सबके ledger में आएगा ये 5 transactions and now they will start working on the next block and then the process starts again. Questions? How many transactions can a block have? This changes from blockchain to blockchain. It is not something which is fixed. थोड़े लोग बहुत सारे transactions रखते हैं, थोड़े लोग बहुत कम transactions रखते हैं, and then there is various reasons for having these different things, which is again a differences between cryptocurrencies, which we will talk about in the next video. Is 4 zeros the minimum difficulty? No, 4 zeros is actually not the minimum difficulty. The minimum difficulty is actually 1 zero. And abhi I think the difficulty is some 50 or 60 zeros. Don't quote me on this one, I may be wrong, but 1 0 was the minimum difficulty jab pehla block nikla tha, and then over time it has been increasing. Cool. So is everyone clear with this?
We are using nonce because it's variable, right?
Yes.
But like for each and every block, the block number will also change, right?
Yeah.
So how can, So the hashes will be like, however, the hashes will be different for both the blocks.
Right. The hashes will be different for both the blocks. So what you will
But
do
even
is
if you don't have nonce, then also the hashes will be different because the block numbers will vary.
right. So the hashes will be different for different blocks. And what you will do is, अगर समझो ये block number 1 है, अब एक नया block बन जाता है. And then even if these are the same transactions here, you're going to have to remine to find out this nonce.
Okay.
तो जब ये ब्लॉक का नंबर 3 बन जाता है तो वापस माइन करोगे और वापस नया नॉन्स आएगा और वापस नया हैश आएगा.
Okay.
But like the question is like why do we need even like nonce की जरूरत ही क्या है फिर? अगर
Yes.
ब्लॉक नंबर लेट्स से चेंज हो गया तो हैश चेंज हो रहा है हर ब्लॉक नंबर होने पर, तो नॉन्स की क्या जरूरत है?
और
That was my-
नॉन्स क्या रोल प्ले कर रहा है वैसे?
ओके, सो नॉन्स हम करते क्यों है? नॉन्स हम इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि ये जो हैश है यहाँ पे, वी वांट द हैश टू स्टार्ट विद 4 zeros. ये क्लियर है? अभी हैश 4 zeros से स्टार्ट नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है, तो अब क्या करते हैं कि ये जो नॉन्स है, ये 1 का हम लोगों ने अगर 2 किया तो ये पूरा का पूरा बदल रहा है, 2 का 3 किया तो ये पूरा का पूरा बदल रहा है. तो हम लोग को ऐसे कौन सा तो नंबर ढूंढना है जिससे ये हैश है वो पहले 4 जीरो से चालू हो जाएगा. एंड द ओनली वे दैट कैन बी डन इज, अगर ये ब्रूट फोर्स से करेंगे, 1 से इंफिनिटी तक एक एक नंबर चेक करेंगे और जिस नंबर पे पहले 4 जीरोस हो जाएंगे वो चलेगा. और तब जब ये जीरोस 4 बन जाएंगे तब वो नॉन्स पे हम रुक जाएंगे और वो बोलेंगे कि ये ब्लॉक का ये नॉन्स है.
Okay, got it. So is there any calculation based upon like ये पहले 4 zeros होने ही चाहिए? Is there any calculation further?
नहीं,
कोई
इसके आगे का कोई
पहले 4 zeros होंगे तो आसान होगी।
हाँ, इसके आगे कोई कैलकुलेशन नहीं, बस 4 जीरोस होने चाहिए. और ये जो नंबर है 4 जीरोस या 5 जीरोस या व्हाटएवर, दैट इज डिसाइडेड बाय कौन सा भी ब्लॉकचेन. लाइक इथेरियम का डिफरेंट होता है, बिटकॉइन का डिफरेंट होता है, ओवर टाइम बदलता है. लाइक अगर तुम ये नहीं, अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, अगर तुम देख लो तो ओवर टाइम बढ़ते ही गया है. मतलब 4 जीरोस होंगे तो प्रॉब्ली नेक्स्ट मंथ या नेक्स्ट 2 months 5 होंगे, उसके बाद 6 होंगे, और उसके वजह से जितना टाइम लगेगा वो नॉन्स ढूंढने में वो बढ़ते जाएगा.
Yes, but like again एक चीज बस वही है कि जैसे नॉन्स की जरूरत है ताकि हमें 4 zeros मिल जाएं, लेकिन हमें 4 zeros की क्यों जरूरत है? हम डायरेक्ट डबल ई से स्टार्ट क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? ये एक क्वेश्चन था.
सो हम क्यों नहीं स्टार्ट करना चाहते इज बिकॉज हम लोग को इफ एक्चुअली ये बहुत अच्छा और फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन है, तो अच्छी बात है तुमने पूछा. तो अगर समझो ये माइनर है और ये बुरा माइनर है, ओके, इसको हम बुरा माइनर कहते हैं, एम डैश कहते हैं. तो अगर समझो अच्छा माइनर है और वो एक एक करके अच्छे से नॉन्स को ढूंढ ढूंढ के ब्लॉक निकाल रहा है, तो उसको एज यू कैन सी यहाँ पे टाइम लगा ना, 5-6 सेकंड लगा ये नॉन्स ढूंढने के लिए. और जैसे जैसे डिफिकल्टी बढ़ता जाएगा उसके वजह से नॉन्स का नंबर भी बढ़ता जाएगा और उसकी वजह से टाइम ज्यादा लगता जाएगा. तो समझो इस ब्लॉक के लिए उसको 5 मिनट लगे, इस ब्लॉक के लिए उसको 6 मिनट लगे. बट अगर ये बंदा एम डैश नॉन्स को लाइक मानता ही नहीं है, वो क्या करता है, वो कौन सा भी आएगा, लाइक समझो 1 आ गया और उसने कहा कि हाँ ये मेरा वैलिड है, तो वो क्या करेगा, इंस्टेंटली ये ब्लॉक क्रिएट करेगा और उसको ऑलमोस्ट 0 सेकंड्स लग गए. फिर वो और एक ब्लॉक क्रिएट करेगा और उसको और 0 सेकंड्स लगे. बट उसमें ये जो ट्रांजैक्शंस है, देयर इज नो गारंटी कि ये वैलिड है या नहीं, बिकॉज देयर इज अ हाई चांस कि उसने ये जो नॉन्स क्रिएट किया है, इफ ही इज नॉट फॉलोइंग द प्रोटोकॉल, देन दैट मीन्स कि देयर इज अ हाई चांस ही मे हैव आल्सो अलाउड इनवैलिड ट्रांजैक्शंस टू गो थ्रू. लाइक खुद को ही ये पे कर रहा है, या उसने ऐसे कुछ किया होगा कि यहाँ पे अगर अग्रीड बिटकॉइन रिवॉर्ड 6.25 है तो वो बोल देगा मेरे को 50 बिटकॉइन चाहिए. तो इन ऑर्डर टू इंश्योर कि ये सारे जो चीजें हैं वो सारे लोग एक साथ फॉलो कर रहे हैं, सारे लोग जो माइनर्स है नेटवर्क पे वो प्रोटोकॉल फॉलो कर रहे हैं, दैट इज व्हाई वी यूज दिस नॉट्स.
Okay, so basically protocol है, this is a protocol, right? Okay.
हाँ, this is a protocol. These are rules, like these are the laws of the land, and to follow these laws, you need to do this.
Okay, thanks.
कोई डाउट किसी और को? what of the transactions which belong to a block that is not published by the first miner to broadcast? This we will get to later on. There is a slide for this. In real life, we can't have partial blocks, but mining doesn't give that much money to some miners. So how does it happen in real life? करेंगे watching it. So calculation of the nonce takes computational time. ये टाइम लगता है करने में, एज वी सॉ 5-6 सेकंड लगे, और रियल लाइफ में ऑलमोस्ट 10 मिनट लगता है एक ब्लॉक बनने को. तो दैट मीन्स दैट द कंप्यूटर हैज डन सम वर्क. सीपीयू चला है और सीपीयू ने इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लिया है, तो दैट कंप्यूटर हैज डन सम वर्क टू क्रिएट दैट थिंग. That is why only way that a miner can prove the work he or she has done is to first publish the block. तो अगर समझो मैं माइनर हूं और एज आई सेड कि ये प्रोटोकॉल है एंड एवरीबडी हैज टू अग्री कि ये ब्लॉक अगर बन गया है तो वैलिड नॉन्स से ही बना है. तो द ओनली वे आई कैन प्रूव दैट इज बाय पब्लिशिंग दिस ब्लॉक जिसका वैलिड नॉन्स है. तो अगर समझो मैं 1 वाला करूंगा तो कोई मानेगा नहीं, क्योंकि ये वैलिड ही नहीं है अकॉर्डिंग टू द लॉज ऑफ द लैंड. बट अगर समझो ये नॉन्स वाला ब्लॉक निकला जो सही वाला है, देन व्हेन आई गिव इट टू एवरीबडी एल्स टू वेरीफाई, देन दे विल सी कि हाँ इस बंदे ने सही से एफर्ट डाला है, वर्क डाला है, उसके कंप्यूटर ने, उसका सीपीयू चला है थोड़े टाइम के लिए जिससे उसने ये नॉन्स ढूंढा है. एंड दैट वर्क विच इज डन इज कॉल्ड प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क. आई एम प्रूविंग टू द वर्ल्ड दैट आई पुट इन सम वर्क टू क्रिएट दिस नॉन्स, एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई एम बीइंग रिवॉर्डेड. दैट इज वाई मेरे को एज अ कॉम्पेंसेशन ये जो इधर का ट्रांजैक्शन जो मैंने इधर घुसाया है, दैट इज वाई आई रिसीव इट. इट इज बिकॉज माई कंप्यूटर हैज पुट इन टाइम एफर्ट टू क्रिएट दिस. So who manages the hash algorithm? Hash algorithm is a public thing. Since if they have the algorithm, they can go backwards. They can't go backwards, right? That's the point. A hash algorithm is a one-way function in the sense that तुम इधर कोई इनपुट डालोगे तो आउटपुट मिलेगा इजीली, बट अगर तुम्हें आउटपुट मिलेगा तो आउटपुट से इनपुट नहीं जाते. अपना इवन और ऑड वाला एग्जांपल ही देख लो ना. अगर समझो तुम्हारे पास इंटीजर्स है सारे एंड तुम -1 लेते हो तो -1 मैप्स टू ऑड. अगर तुम 1 लेते हो 1 मैप्स टू ऑड, बट यू कांट लुक एट ऑड एंड से लेकर चाह ये -1 के बारे में बात कर रहा था, ये 1 के बारे में बात कर रहा था. एंड हैश एल्गोरिथम्स आर पब्लिक. तुम देख लो क्रिप्टोग्राफी यूजुअली में एक SHA-256 नाम का एल्गोरिथम यूज किया जाता है. बिटकॉइन में भी यही यूज किया जाता है, एंड दैट इज अ पब्लिक एल्गोरिथम. द वे इट इज कैलकुलेटेड इज पब्लिक, बट इट हैज बीन क्रिएटेड इन सच अ वे कि कोई रिवर्स इंजीनियर नहीं कर सकता. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन क्योंकि 10 हो गया. सो दिस इज द फ्लो इन एक्शन. We'll go every single step of the way, and I think this will clear 90% of your doubts. Okay, let's go one after the other. There is a person A, there is a person B. A has paid B 20 rupees. Matlab, he has created a transaction of 20 rupees where he wants to like pay that from his account to B's account. तो A signs this transaction. अपना पहला वाला जो साइन वाला था ना, उसमें ही signs the transaction और वो सिग्नेचर इसमें डाल देता है. तो अब एक सिग्नेचर वाला ट्रांजैक्शन क्रिएट हो गया है. देन ए ब्रॉडकास्ट दिस ट्रांजैक्शन टू एवरी सिंगल पर्सन इन दिस पर्टिकुलर ब्लॉकचेन. एवरी सिंगल पर्सन हियर्स कि ए हैज ब्रॉडकास्टेड दिस ट्रांजैक्शन, एंड देन दैट ब्रॉडकास्टेड ट्रांजैक्शन गोज इनटू द पूल ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस. मतलब वो जो पूल ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस था जहां पे ऑल ऑफ द ट्रांजैक्शंस वेट अंटिल दे आर पिक्ड अप एंड देन माइंड, इट इज नाउ देयर. That transaction is now added to the transaction. So now we look at the miners. ये जो अपने miners है, they are just waiting to mine. So what they do is they see a transaction in the transaction pool, and then they verify the transaction. यहाँ पे जो signature आया था और वो transaction है, उसको ये verify करते हैं with the message, signature, और A का जो public key था वो यहाँ पे डाल देते हैं public key. And using that they verify that it is true. We are assuming कि ये non malicious transaction था, ये सही का transaction था, और ये जिसी भी माइनर ने उठाया उसने वेरीफाई किया. तो माइनर देन एड्स दैट ट्रांजैक्शन टू द ब्लॉक. समझो अपन माइनर 2 के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं जो ये कर रहा है, एंड ही एड्स इट टू द ब्लॉक. वो जो ब्लॉक का वो जो ट्रांजैक्शंस का पार्ट था उसमें उसने डाल दिया वो ट्रांजैक्शन. नाउ द माइनर स्टार्ट्स लुकिंग फॉर द नॉन्स. एज वी सेड उसने ये ट्रांजैक्शन सारे डाल दिए. समझो अभी ब्लॉक नंबर 5 है, उसने ये सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस डाल दिए, उसने खुद का ट्रांजैक्शन का रिवॉर्ड डाल दिया. फॉर द सेक ऑफ एक्यूरेसी अपन डालेंगे कि ये 6.25 बिटकॉइन है. एंड नाउ व्हाट ही विल डू इज ही विल स्टार्ट लुकिंग फॉर द नॉन्स. तो अभी माइनर 1 बोला है, बट तुम समझ लो. माइनिंग चालू कर दिया उसने. नाउ माइनर 1 हैज फाउंड द नॉन्स. सो ही हैज नाउ फाउंड द नॉन्स. अब वो क्या करेगा? Miner 1 will publish the block to everyone. Miner 1 tells every single miner on the chain कि hey, listen guys, I have created this block where the block number is 5, the nonce is this, the data is this. So can you verify that this is an actual true block? So miner 1 will now see this, and now miner 2 and 3 will verify the block. How do they verify this block? As I said कि उनके पास ये जो अपना A वाला माइनर नंबर 1 है, that guy has told everybody this is block number 5, this is nonce number ये, and this is the data. So what they do is they will just put everything here and they will see, is the hash starting with that number of zeros? Is the hash starting with that number of zeros? And that number of zeros is decided by who? The protocol. अगर हम बिटकॉइन पे है and Bitcoin has said कि आज के घंटे में जो भी सारे ब्लॉक्स बनेंगे उसके हैश में देयर शुड बी 5 zeros और 4 zeros एट द स्टार्ट, देन दे विल जस्ट चेक कि यहाँ पे 4 zeros है या नहीं. एंड नाउ दे एड इट टू द लेजर. समझो उसने वेरीफाई कर लिया, दे एड दैट ब्लॉक टू देयर लेजर. नाउ वी गो बैक टू द क्लाइंट एंड. बी देखता है कि यहाँ पे सब लोगों ने एक नया ब्लॉक पब्लिश किया है. नाउ the client doesn't care किसने publish किया. The client doesn't care कि कौन से miner को क्या reward मिला. All he cares about is if his transaction went through. So what he sees is the transaction in the new block. ये जो यहाँ पे transaction था, समझो A ने B को call किया कि hey listen, I have created this transaction. वो transaction का ID ये है, तुम जब verify होगा तब देख लो. All he does is he looks कि ये transaction किसी block में है या नहीं. That is it. Because the miners have done the verification for him. Verification किया है, mining किया है, सब किया है. He doesn't have to do all of this. He just sees कि अच्छा block में आ गया. That means somebody has taken that effort for me, and he accepts कि A ने pay किया है मेरे लिए. And now B knows that the transaction is confirmed. When he sees it in the new block, when he sees that that new block has been added to everyone's ledger, then client B is happy. Client B knows कि मेरे को पैसे आ गए. That is how it's done. Any questions here?
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Like अगर उसने माइनर ने समझ कंसिडर 21 मिलियन सारे बिटकॉइन माइंड हो गए और उसके बाद में जो ट्रांजैक्शन हुए, तो उसके बाद में तो माइनर्स को कुछ बेनिफिट नहीं होगा ना ये माइन करने से, तो तब ट्रांजैक्शन का नोटिस कैसे होगा?
हाँ, so the thing is, गुड क्वेश्चन. मतलब तूने बहुत ऑलरेडी थोड़ा स्टडी कर लिया है. तो इशू क्या होता है अब इस, ये जो नंबर है, आई थिंक ये 2030 या 2040, आई फॉरगॉट द ईयर, जब टच होगा तब बिटकॉइन विल सॉर्ट ऑफ स्टॉप वर्किंग. एंड दैट इज बिकॉज जो माइनर्स है विच आर कीपिंग द इंटरनेट सिक्योर, सॉरी कीपिंग ब्लॉकचेन सिक्योर, दे विल नॉट डू माइनिंग एनीमोर, क्योंकि पैसे ही नहीं है उसमें, अब क्या करेंगे. और जब पैसे आने बंद हो जाएंगे तब सारी सिस्टम कोलैप्स हो जाएगी. बट दैट इज समथिंग विच इज गोइंग टू हैपन फार इनटू द फ्यूचर. मतलब इट्स दिस इज अ पेपर विच वाज रिटन थिंकिंग कि कुछ ये पेपर टेक ऑफ ही नहीं होगा. मतलब जिस बंदे ने भी ये लिखा, he had no clue that this is going to become such a huge deal. So he just created this random date कि हाँ 2030 तक हो जाएगा. अगर if this idea catches on, then somebody else will create something like this and find a better solution. If it doesn't catch on, it will die peacefully. So that is how it happened. So yeah, to answer your question, उसके बाद Bitcoin as a currency तो collapse हो जाएगी, but then उसके बाद क्या होगा वो only the future will tell. I cannot tell. If I knew, then I would do insider trading and I would earn a lot of money. So who decides protocol? The protocol is decided purely mathematically. क्या होता है, 2 हफ्ते में जो भी ब्लॉक्स बनते हैं, in 2 weeks the number of blocks which are created, समझो कि there are 100 blocks which are created. Okay, 100 is too less a number. So समझो n blocks are created. ठीक है, n blocks are, यार ये पेन क्यों नहीं चल रहा, n blocks are created. And what they do is they see कि n divided by 2 weeks is equal to कितना time. Okay, and if that number is greater than 10 minutes, then they do something to make sure कि number of blocks are like they want to basically bring the time back to 10 minutes. तो अगर तुम्हारे पास 10 मिनट से ज्यादा है, ये अगर 10 मिनट से ज्यादा है और 2 वीक्स तो फिक्स्ड है, तो तुम क्या करोगे, नंबर ऑफ ब्लॉक्स को इंक्रीज करोगे। तो सॉरी, अगर तुम्हें 10 को वापस रीच कराना है तो तुम नंबर ऑफ ब्लॉक्स को डिक्रीज करोगे। What that does is if you want to decrease the number of blocks which are created in 2 weeks, you will increase the difficulty. तो अगर अभी डिफिकल्टी 5 zeros है, तो नेक्स्ट 2 हफ्तों के लिए 6 डिफिकल्टी हो जाएगी, as simple as that. तो that protocol is completely decided mathematically. There is nobody who sits and who decides कि अच्छा ठीक है आज का 10 है कल का 20 है. It is mathematically decided. और अगर समझो उल्टा केस हो जाता है कि n divided by 2 weeks अगर वो 10 मिनट से कम है, तो दैट मीन्स कि तुम्हें तुम्हारे ब्लॉक्स बढ़ाने हैं, एंड दैट मीन्स डिफिकल्टी कम करनी है। तो दैट मीन्स अगर आज डिफिकल्टी 5 है तो नेक्स्ट 2 हफ्ते के लिए 4 हो जाएगी डिफिकल्टी। सो अनन्या इज आस्किंग, सो इफ द 3 minors start at the same time to find the nonce, then whoever finds it will get the reward. Yes, that is like basically the best way to put it. This is a race. This is an arms race between all of these minors. Whoever wins this race of publishing the block first, they will get the reward. Yeah.
Athar, sorry to interrupt. I just had this question. So basically, the amount is fixed, right? That if a new block is created, 6.25 BTC is the current amount of BTC a miner will get.
Right.
So a miner cannot get less than 6.25 BTC if he has created a block, right?
Right.
So, but I have seen, like personally, there are miners who have not earned that much. Like 6.25 BTC is a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, so like 3-4 crores. But real, like I have seen many miners who are not earning that much. So I just wanted to know, then like a block cannot be like blocks cannot be partial. Like they are like one
No,
block, 2 block,
blocks
3
can't
block.
be partial, but block reward can be partial using coalition of miners. ये हम लोगों ने कल बात की थी, जहां पे अगर समझो you and I are working together. What we'll do is, अच्छा ठीक है 6.25 Bitcoin है ना, अगर one of us ends up publishing a block, then we'll split the profit 50-50. That is called a mining pool. We'll get to this. Can we consider miners as centralized verification? No, because at the end of the day, we are very like this miner is not necessarily connected to this miner. Matlab, they are not like working together. This miner is not necessarily working with this miner. These three might be from the completely different parts of the country. These might have never known that the other person exists. For that reason, this is completely decentralized. Yeah, so I think Aniket, that answers your question. So let's move on because thoda cover karna hai aur. Conflicting blocks. Conflicting blocks mein kya hota hai? For example, if there is a person who creates this block and there's a person who creates this block and both of them happen to be published at the same time. Sorry. So both of them happen to be published at the same time. Then what happens? Then what happens is we wait for another block. Then we wait for another block. And then we see which chain becomes the longest. So we always trust the longest chain. तो इस केस में अगर समझो ये माइनर 1 ने पब्लिश किया था और ये माइनर 2 ने पब्लिश किया था, तो इस ब्लॉक का रिवॉर्ड माइनर 1 को मिलना चाहिए था, इस ब्लॉक का रिवॉर्ड माइनर 2 को मिलना चाहिए था. बट अगर ये ब्लॉक एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं हुआ तो ये जो रिवॉर्ड मिल गया वो गायब हो गया. माइनर 1 हैज नॉट रिसीव्ड अ रिवॉर्ड. मतलब ये जो माइनर 1 ने एफर्ट डाला था वो वेस्ट हो गया. माइनर 2 का जो चेन था दैट एंडेड अप बिकमिंग द लॉन्गेस्ट चेन, सो ही गॉट ऑल ऑफ द रिवॉर्ड्स.
That
So
is random, right?
Yes, it's completely random. There is no guarantee कि ये जो ब्लॉक था ये इसको ही अटैच करता या इसको ही अटैच करता. ये जो ब्लॉक है इसकी कंप्लीटली मर्जी है कि ये किसको अटैच करेगा, और ये जो मर्जी है ये कंप्लीटली रैंडम है. तो दैट्स व्हाई व्हाट हैपेंस इज इफ देयर इज अ ट्रांजैक्शन व्हिच हैपेंड हियर इधर, तो टू बी श्योर कि ये कंफर्म हो गई ट्रांजैक्शन, वी वेट फॉर अ फ्यू ब्लॉक्स. क्योंकि अगर समझो यहाँ इस ब्लॉक में कोई ट्रांजैक्शन हो जाता, A pays B 10 rupees whatever, then it was going to get like non-confirmed from here onwards, क्योंकि यहाँ से onwards जो मेन चेन है वो नहीं है. तो व्हाट वी डू इज वी वेट फॉर लाइक 5-6 ब्लॉक्स. आई थिंक अभी प्रोटोकॉल है यू वेट फॉर 6 ब्लॉक्स, एंड अगर 6 ब्लॉक्स में कंसेक्यूटिवली यू हियर कि योर ट्रांजैक्शन इज कंफर्म 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 कंफर्म, देन you can say that your block that transaction has gone through 100%. So then the question arises कि समझो यहाँ पे जो transactions थे, यहाँ पे अगर समझो 10 transaction थे और वो इस ब्लॉक में एक्सेप्ट नहीं हुए, तो उसका होता क्या है? तो what happens is ये जो साइड ब्लॉक्स है ये खुद को डिटैच कर देते हैं, एंड इसमें जो ट्रांजैक्शंस थे वो वापस वो ट्रांजैक्शन के पूल में जाता है. तो ये जो अपना पूल था जहां पे सारे अनकन्फर्म ट्रांजैक्शन थे वो यहाँ पे आ गया, and then they go back to some miner picking it up and then mining it. Is this part clear?
एक्सक्यूज मी, आई हैव डाउट.
Yeah.
जैसे समझ लो क्लाइंट है, क्लाइंट भी, अगर क्लाइंट है, क्लाइंट भी को कुछ ट्रांजेक्शन देता है, समझ लो 20 रुपीज देता, तो वो ट्रांजेक्शन पूल में जाता.
किस में जाता? कुएं में?
ट्रांजेक्शन पूल, लाइक ट्रांजेक्शन पूल.
हाँ ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में जाता है. सही है. क्लाइंट ए क्लाइंट बी को अगर कोई ट्रांजैक्शन करता है तो पहले
हाँ.
क्लाइंट पूल में जाता है, ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में जाता है, और फिर कोई माइनर उसको उठाएगा माइन
हाँ, और फिर हाँ, और जब तक अगर वो वेरीफाई नहीं होगा तब तक वो उसके अंदर मतलब रजिस्टर्ड नहीं होगा ब्लॉक में. हेलो.
हाँ सही है. जब तक वेरीफाई नहीं होता तब तक किसी ब्लॉक में नहीं जाएगा, और जब तक किसी ब्लॉक में
तो
नहीं
फिर
जाता
ये
तब तक सबके लेजर में नहीं जाएगा.
तो फिर ये प्रोसेस में कितना टाइम लगता, मींस?
यही तो बात है. इसलिए तो ब्लॉकचेन का भी वो इशू आता है ना कि सब लोग बोलते हैं कि वीजा का ट्रांजैक्शन स्पीड 1000 ट्रांजैक्शंस पर सेकंड है और ब्लॉकचेन का 4 ट्रांजैक्शंस पर सेकंड है. ये क्यों है? क्योंकि अगर समझो तूने अभी ट्रांजैक्शन किया
ओके.
और बेस्ट केस तेरा
हाँ.
ये 6 ब्लॉक्स एक शॉट में लग गए सारे, लाइक 6 ब्लॉक्स कंसेक्यूटिवली तेरा सही से लग गया, देन दैट मीन्स अगर ईच ब्लॉक को 10 मिनट लगे तो तेरे को तेरा ट्रांजैक्शन कंफर्म करने के लिए 1 घंटा लग गया. 1 घंटा. दैट इज
और वो 1
atrociously
घंटे में
bad.
तो
हाँ. एंड
उसमें तो
व्हाट
प्राइस चेंज भी इतना डिफरेंस होता था.
एग्जैक्टली. तो समझो तूने किसी चीज के लिए बिटकॉइन से पे किया, you might have just incurred a loss. What if the price went up like 200% in 1 hour? Then you're screwed. On the other hand, if it gets attached in one of these chains, side chains, and you never know कितने side chains होगा, there might be a very unlucky transaction जो इस side chain में आता है, फिर वापस इस side chain में घुस जाता है, और फिर गलती से इस side chain में भी घुस जाता है. तो the minimum time for a transaction confirmation is 1 hour. The maximum time for a confirmation of a transaction is infinite time. क्योंकि अगर ये ऐसे होते रहे और ऐसे साइड चेन में घुसता रहा तो बहुत टाइम लग सकता है जब तक कंफर्म होगा. इसलिए इतना स्लो ट्रांजैक्शन स्पीड है ब्लॉकचेन का.
तो जब तक माइनर कंफर्म नहीं करता कि ये ट्रांजैक्शन वैलिड हो गया, तब तक वो ट्रांजैक्शन गिने नहीं जाएगा ना.
हाँ, गिना ही नहीं जाएगा.
इनकेस गुड्स एंड सर्विस का एक्सचेंज है और मैंने गुड्स के लिए पैसे पे किए, और जब तक माइनर वेरीफाई नहीं करता तब तक मेरे को गुड्स रिसीव नहीं होंगे.
गुड्स रिसीव तो जो बंदा गुड्स भेजेगा उसके बारे में ना, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल.
मतलब उसको तो
हाँ,
तब
बट
तक
बात सही.
उसको
उसको
तब तक
तब
मिल
तक
रहा
नहीं
नहीं ना
है.
कि वेरीफाई हुआ करके. तो
हाँ,
इनकेस
सही है.
मतलब वो सिस्टम वहाँ पे इनएफिशिएंसी सिस्टम.
हाँ, बहुत इनएफिशिएंट है ये सिस्टम अभी तो. एंड वी विल टॉक अबाउट हाउ वी कैन ऑप्टिमाइज इट इन वीक 3.
और मेरे को एक विजिबिलिटी का क्वेश्चन था. समझ लो क्लाइंट ए ने क्लाइंट बी को पैसे दिए, तो वो सबको कैसे विजिबल, मतलब अपन ऐसा बोलते कि लेजर की एंट्री सबके पास रहती, पर जो ब्लॉक है वो ब्लॉक के अंदर जो ट्रांजैक्शन है सबके को सिर्फ वही विजिबल रहते. तो पूरे कम्युनिटी को कैसे क्या पता चलता है कि लेजर के अंदर कितने ट्रांजैक्शंस हुए?
नहीं, जो ब्लॉक में ट्रांजैक्शंस है वो भी सबको पता है. लाइक हर ब्लॉक में सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस तू देख सकता है कि किसने किसको कितने पैसे किए. तो ये जो सारे
मतलब
ट्रांजैक्शन,
स्टार्टिंग से 2009 से जहाँ से ब्लॉकचेन स्टार्ट हुआ, वहां
हाँ,
से जितने ट्रांजैक्शन हुए वो अपने को हर ब्लॉक में मिलेंगे.
हर ब्लॉक में मिलेंगे. टू द पॉइंट वेयर यू कैन सी सटोशी नाकामोटो का अकाउंट आईडी, बिकॉज जो फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन था वो उसके अकाउंट में गया ना, तो उसका अकाउंट मिल जाएगा तुझे. एंड देन यू कैन लुक एट द बैलेंस, क्योंकि बैलेंस करने के लिए यू जस्ट गो थ्रू एवरी सिंगल ट्रांजैक्शन एंड ऐड अप, एंड देन यू कैन सी कि लाइफ में इस बंदे के पास अभी कितने बिटकॉइन है.
अच्छा, ओके.
बट आई थिंक योर क्वेश्चन एक्सटेंड्स अ बिट फर्दर. अगर समझो मेरा अकाउंट है तो इज देयर एन इशू वेयर इफ आई सेंड यू 10 बिटकॉइन, देन विल समबडी फाइंड आउट कि मैंने तुझे भेजा है क्या? तो द आंसर इज नॉट रियली, क्योंकि तेरा जो अकाउंट आईडी है वो इनक्रिप्टेड है. हर बंदे का, मतलब तेरा और मेरा इनक्रिप्टेड. तो अनटिल एंड अनलेस मैं किसी को बताता हो कि ये मेरा इनक्रिप्टेड अकाउंट आईडी है, तब तक नोबडी कैन फाइंड आउट कि क्या है क्या नहीं है किसका. गॉट इट? मतलब अगेन इट्स लाइक
और किसी
सेइंग,
का
But minors can find, no.
no, miners can't find because miners don't have an idea about the mapping from the owner of an account to the account number. तो अकाउंट नंबर देख के कोई बोल नहीं सकता कि ये इस बंदे का अकाउंट है. इट्स लाइक लुकिंग एट अ फिंगरप्रिंट एंड बीइंग लाइक हाँ ये बंदा है.
मतलब अपन ये जज कर सकते हैं कि ये अकाउंट से इतने ट्रांजेक्शन हुए, बट वी कांट वेरीफाई कि अकाउंट किसका है. बट ये पता चल
Perfect.
सकता है कि अकाउंट में इतना बैलेंस है और यहाँ से यहाँ तक ट्रांजेक्शन हुए हुआ है.
Perfect. And that's why a lot of these illegal activities and trades are done through Bitcoin, right? Because you can just see how much money is in that account. You can't tell who owns the account. And because of that inherent lack of traceability, which at that time was a good idea because people wanted to move away from this traceability and everything, now that is becoming a bad thing because these bad actors can use these things to do illegal activities. Drugs तुम अगर sell करते हो, then you can use it to basically hide your payments.
पर
But
अपन ने तो
as
लेजर
we
में ऐसा देखा
transact,
ना. हेलो.
हाँ, लेजर का क्या?
हाँ, लेजर में अपन ने ऐसा देखा ना कि अपन ने ट्रांजेक्शन से पूल से ट्रांजेक्शन उठाए और वो अपन ने ब्लॉक के अंदर डाले और फिर माइनर ने उसका रिवॉर्ड डाल के ब्लॉक ऐड कर दिया. तो जो
हाँ.
पहले के जो ट्रांजेक्शन है वो कब ऐड होते हैं उसमें?
यार ये जो लेजर है वो उसकी
हम्म.
कॉपी सबके पास है ना. लाइक मैंने जब
हाँ,
स्टार्टिंग
पर जो 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 नया ब्लॉक ऐड हो रहा है उसके अंदर जो एग्जिस्टिंग जो पिछले ब्लॉक है जिसके अंदर ट्रांजेक्शन हो चुके हैं वो कब ऐड होते हैं? मतलब जब ब्लॉक क्रिएशन होता है तब उसके अंदर अपन वो ऐड करते कि नहीं डेटा?
नहीं यार, देख
वो हैश के फॉर्म में होता है वो.
हाँ यार, मतलब देख बात ऐसी है कि अगर अगर इफ यू कंसिडर कि द लेजर इज अ नोटबुक एंड दैट नोटबुक हैज 100 पेजेस, देन तू जब नया ब्लॉक ऐड कर रहा है यू आर
हाँ.
एसेंशियली लाइक जस्ट एडिंग अ पेज हियर, दैट्स इट. तो अब तेरी नोटबुक बन गई 101 पेजेस की.
अच्छा,
बट ये
मतलब पहले
नोटबुक तो
से
सबके
डेटा है
पास है.
उसके अंदर.
हाँ हाँ
हाँ, ओके ओके, मतलब पहले से वो डेटा है उसके अंदर नया डेटा इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं.
हाँ हाँ, बस अपेंड कर रहे हो इन वेरी टेक्निकल टर्म्स, बस ऐड किए जा रहे हो एक के बाद एक.
ओके ओके.
Okay. Is this why crypto is used in the dark web for trading? Yes. One of the advantages that blockchain claims is to have speed. Blockchain does not claim to have speed. Certain blockchains say कि हमारा Bitcoin से faster है. But कितना faster? If Bitcoin is doing 4 transactions per second, there might be a bit, let's say something which does 10 transactions per second. That is also faster. How much faster is the question? And again, we will talk about optimizations in some time. But on CX we buy at an instant, right? हाँ, but actually कैसा होता है? Those transactions are sort of queried in the sense that it's like credit. If you buy it on an exchange, they say कि हाँ तुम्हारे account में there is XYZ amount, but they have said that because you have already paid them money, and then they are saying कि हाँ we believe कि आ जाएगा एक दो दिन में, मतलब worst case. And again, this is specifically for Bitcoin. There are a lot of other technical things which these centralized exchanges do under the hood. ये सब optimizations कर करके थोड़ा speed बढ़ जाता है. So we'll move on now. What about malicious miners? So this is a question which people were asking a lot yesterday. कि what if there's a miner who is bad? अगर bad miner है तो क्या होगा? तो what happens is the good miners just won't accept the bad block. यहाँ पे अगर समझो ऐसा है और मैंने ये ऐसा ब्लॉक बना दिया और ये इनवैलिड है क्योंकि मैंने नॉन्स वगैरह का लाइट ले लिया. आई डू नॉट वांट टू फाइंड द नॉन्स बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू पुट इन द टाइम बिकॉज आई एम अ मैलिशियस एक्टर. और ये मैंने सबको भेज दिया कि हे गाइस, आई एम अ माइनर एंड आई हैव माइंड दिस ब्लॉक. पीपल विल लुक एट दिस वेरिफिकेशन, सी दैट इट्स फॉल्स एंड बी लाइक नो दिस इज नॉट अ वैलिड ब्लॉक एंड दे विल डिस्कार्ड इट. खत्म, उधर ही गेम ओवर. So good miners won't accept the block. Hence, it will never get added to the longest chain because कभी add ही नहीं हो रहा है. And thus the blockchain integrity remains. That is why blockchain remains good. Now, the second part to that is, समझो there is a malicious actor who is a bit smart. What that guy does is, मैंने समझ ये समझ 6.25 वाला है, 6.25 वाला है. And मैंने समझ ये बोला कि दिस इज वैलिड. देन व्हाट आई कैन डू इज आई विल माइन दिस ब्लॉक. तो ये माइन किया और ये आ गया ये वैल्यू. Now what I do is I say that this is a valid block, and then it gets added somewhere here. यहाँ पे यार ये कहाँ गया, हाँ यहाँ पे समझो ऐड हो गया, अरे यार ये बहुत कचरा हो गया. Erase. Okay, cool. So यहाँ पे so समझो इस ब्लॉक में वो ब्लॉक बन गया और वो यहाँ पे अटैच हो गया. नाउ व्हाट दैट माइनर विल हैव टू डू, ये माइनर इस उसका झूठ छिपाने के लिए जो नेक्स्ट ब्लॉक है वो भी उसको ही माइन करना पड़ेगा. गेट इट? if this miner created one block and he added to the chain, then उसका झूठ छिपाने के लिए he will have to mine the next block as well. But because the miners here are outnumbering him, there is a probability कि after some point the good blocks will win. मतलब इस केस में there is a higher probability कि ये जो अच्छे वाले हैं they will be able to mine the blocks faster because the number of miners are more. And for that reason, after some point, it will not get added to the longest chain और blockchain की integrity रह जाएगी. Now the other question is, what if there are majority malicious miners? मतलब ये दोनों evil है, तो क्या होगा? तो at that point, ये जो malicious actors है, ये good miners से ज़्यादा fast blocks create कर पाएंगे. And because of that, since we trust the longest chain, जो भी longest chain बनती है, that will now become malicious. तो वो ट्रस्टेड चेन खराब हो जाएगी और ये जो इंटेग्रिटी है वो खराब हो जाएगी और ब्लॉकचेन ये टूट जाएगा. कूल. सो दिस नीड्स 51% एट लीस्ट ऑफ द कंप्यूटिंग पावर इन द सिस्टम. मतलब ये जो गलत ब्लॉक्स माइन करने की बात है, दैट कैन ओनली बी डन अगर 51% ऑफ ऑल ऑफ द हैशिंग पावर इन दैट सिस्टम इज ओन्ड बाय द बैड पीपल. And that is called a 51% attack. Any doubts here? If we do transactions goes into a pool.
Athar,
Yeah.
I just have this doubt that so you first of all you said that if the number of miners, so let's say I'm a bad miner and if I want to hide my block, then I have to simultaneously create the next block, right? But like I don't think that like this should not be possible because at first only I will the wrong block will not be accepted, right? So anyways I am acting as a good miner always. So the question was that you said that first a bad miner created a block with 6.25 BTC. He has created a good block.
अच्छा ठीक है, तेरा जो क्वेश्चन है ना मेरे को समझ में आ रहा है.
Then
what I'll do is अभी 10:35 हुआ है, I will finish off अभी जो हुआ है and then I'll get back to you. जो बचा हुआ पार्ट है वो बस खत्म कर देता हूँ जल्दी and I'll get back to your question because उसके बाद एक ही स्लाइड है. मतलब उसके बाद थोड़ा और मटेरियल था बट वो बाद में करेंगे. इन समरी बिटकॉइन के 4 मेजर इनोवेशन थे. एक था लेजर. वेरी स्टार्टिंग को वी टॉक्ड अबाउट हाउ द लेजर वाज द फर्स्ट इनोवेशन व्हिच इट यूज्ड. द सेकंड वन वाज डिजिटल सिग्नेचर्स. The third was initial transactions, adding some money into the ledger, sort of like credit, and then making sure that you don't overspend whatever you've created. That way you won't get debt. And the fourth one is BFT, Byzantine fault tolerance. That essentially is proof of work, which is the innovation which which Bitcoin brought to the table. And again, this is the transaction to blockchain flow. पहले एक transaction बनता है, you create a transaction, you digitally sign it. Then it gets broadcast to everyone. Then miner picks up that transaction from the transaction pool. And then he validates it using your public key. He adds it to his block, mines the block, broadcasts it, and then everyone adds that block to their ledger. That's it. So, किसने पूछा वो doubt? I forgot. What's the name of the person? Divyanshu. Okay, I will get back to you. Okay. So Sagar asks, so the blockchain technology gains trust based on the probability of most miners being the good. Yes, that is the premise, that we assume that 51% minimum of the people in the blockchain who are mining are good people. Aniket asks, if we do transactions, it goes into a pool, then how miners can see it? And how do these illegal activities are conducted? Okay, so what happens is, first of all, miners don't care if you are using that money to buy an iPhone or if you are using that money to buy drugs. All they care about is if I verify this transaction fast enough, then I will get money. So they don't care. They don't go into the verification of, oh, who is this person and what they are paying for. Secondly, how are these illegal activities conducted? Because I can own multiple accounts, right? I can own one account where I pay for like whatever food. I can buy groceries from one account, and then I can own another account where I do only like malicious activities. You don't know that I own both of these accounts. The miner doesn't know. Nobody knows. So that is how these things are conducted. How often is Bitcoin integrity broken? It has not been broken since 2009. And that's why it's such a huge innovation. Like that's why everybody calls it the next big thing. That's why everybody thinks that this is the next internet, because it has withstood the test of time, 11 years, 12 years now almost, and it has still not been broken, which is a huge feat. And that is why everybody is so hyped about these things. Cool. So Divyanshu, we will get to your question, जो था. तेरा question अच्छा था and काफी fundamental था, तो इसलिए we will get to it properly.
Another question I had.
Yeah.
So blocks are added into the blockchain only when the other miners verify if the block is right.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to do if the nonce is itself not verified, then it is not added to the blockchain.
Right.
So what is the, like, how can even the miner create a chain longer than the other chain, because the blocks itself is not added to the chain because they are not verified.
That is also his question. That is what I will explain now. So ये जो example है, ये तुम अब थोड़ा ऐसे समझ लो. I am a miner who is very cunning. I am an evil miner, but I'm very cunning. तो what happens is ये जो चीज है, this is hard coded. अब थोड़ा टेक्निकल से बात कर लो. ये जो चीज है, ये हार्ड कोड होती है मेरे कोड में. ये मैं बदल नहीं सकता. ये 6.25 में चेंज नहीं कर सकता. बट मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ कि ये जो ट्रांजैक्शन है नीचे वाला, ये हटा के मैं ऐसे बोल सकता हूँ कि D pays I, which is the miner, ₹100. समझे? This transaction I have added to this block. ऐसे ही ऐड कर दिया क्योंकि मैं चोर हूं और मेरे को D से चुराई करनी है. Now what I can do is I can mine the block. Now I have mined this block, and in this I have a transaction where I am getting ₹100. Now what has happened here is ये जो block है, ये block पकड़ते हैं. चलो, इस block में D is paying me ₹100. Okay. Now this block is valid क्योंकि यहाँ पे नॉन्स सही से बना है. ये मैंने माइन किया है, मैंने इसमें एफर्ट डाला है, और उसके वजह से बिकॉज इट वाज वैलिड, द अदर माइनर्स अराउंड मी थिंक कि अच्छा हाँ, ये बंदे ने सही से माइनिंग करके ये ब्लॉक बनाया है. दैट्स व्हाई इट गेट्स अटैच्ड टू द मेन चेन. ओके. Now somebody else might come along and accidentally attach another thing at the same time, and this happens a lot nowadays because there are so many miners around कि almost हर second block मतलब like there are many conflicting blocks essentially. तो ये समझ बन गया. Okay. Also at the same time, now to ensure कि ये जो मैंने चुराई की है, चुराई नहीं, चोरी बोलते हैं आई थिंक हिंदी में, हाँ, चोरी की है डी से, ये लॉन्गेस्ट चेन में बने, मेरे को इस ब्लॉक में भी बनाना होगा. फिर ये जो ब्लॉक आएगा इसमें भी बनना चाहिए. फिर ये ब्लॉक है, ये भी इसमें भी बनना चाहिए. ये भी ब्लॉक है, इसमें भी बनना चाहिए, एंड सो ऑन. So to ensure कि my chain becomes the longest chain, because I have done chori in this particular block, I need to ensure that every single block that comes after this is made faster than every single block that happens in the main chain, right? So this block has to come before this block. This block has to come before this block. This block has to come before this block, and so on. That means that I need to have the hashing power, which is much higher than all of the other miners combined for 5 to 6 blocks straight. और अपन ने क्या बोला कि a transaction is confirmed in 6 blocks. That and each block takes around 10 minutes to mine. That means 1 घंटे के लिए I need to have more mining power than every single miner in the network for 1 whole hour. तब ही मेरी चोरी accept होगी. Yeah.
Okay, so
Then there
basically
should
आप
be a community of miners, no, for making this.
हाँ, that community
yeah,
of
that's why
miners
it's
is
not
there.
possible right now.
Yeah, but that community of miners is not unified in the sense that uh, there isn't like unity among them. ऐसे नहीं है कि मतलब हम सब लोग मिलके ये करेंगे. Everybody is there who is looking after their own interest.
So basically अतर main चीज ये है कि उस माइनर को बाकी माइनर्स को ये अश्योर करवाना है कि दिस इज द लॉन्ग चेन, राइट?
हाँ, this miner wants to fool every other miner who is not malicious कि ये मेरी ये सबसे लॉन्ग चेन है, और he has to keep that lie up.
But that would be foolish because the miner doesn't know that D has how much credit. So
नहीं देख सकते हो ना, डी का अकाउंट नंबर मुझे पता है,
how much credit,
तो सारे इसमें देख देख के मैं देख सकता हूँ कि अच्छा डी बहुत बड़ा रईस बंदा है, उसके पास 1000 बिटकॉइन है, मेरे को चोरी करनी है.
okay, so it's essentially like changing the whole
यार तेरी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है.
hello
हाँ.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But हाँ,
Yeah, so I said basically it's like changing the transaction, the actual transaction, and continuing it until everybody believes it's true,
right,
like the longest chain.
right.
Okay,
And that is why, yeah,
close to impossible.
yeah.
Another thing is, like in this example, there were two chains were formed, and that is why if by chance randomly if the block was connected to the chain where D had paid the miner 100 rupees, instead
Yeah.
of going to the instead of connecting to the main chain, if it had itself connected to the D pays miner 100 rupees,
This one.
then that would be the main then that would be the main chain, right? And the miner could have easily got past it because block
No,
it
so
is random on the block, it will attach is random, right?
yeah, so again, good question. What would happen here is there it's not like so it's not completely random. मतलब ये जो attachment होता है, that's not completely random. क्या होता है is every single block that has come before in the chain, that is like, okay, समझो यहाँ पे transaction कोई हुआ है, and you want to you create a block, then that block chooses to attach itself to the chain where the transaction has been voted sort of to be to have the highest integrity as much as possible, like वो ऐसे attach होते जाता है. Is that
Yes, yes.
but then the consensus mechanism, like according to the consensus mechanism, जो block का previous hash है, so the next block will use the hash of previous block, right?
हाँ.
So अगर if that is true, then there should not be that like I mean that ये कोई problem होनी नहीं चाहिए ना फिर, मतलब अगर हमें पता है कि हम previous block का hash use कर रहे हैं and first block has already been created, तो चेन सीधे सीधे चलती रहेगी, तो साइड चेन का तो कोई मतलब ऐसे फिर कंसेप्ट
नहीं, ऐसे थोड़ी है. समझो मेरा प्रीवियस हैश 1 2 3 है, और मतलब सॉरी ये मेरा अभी का ब्लॉक nth ब्लॉक है जो 1 2 3 है, तो n+1 ब्लॉक यहाँ पे बनेगा जहाँ पे प्रीवियस हैश 1 2 3 है और इसका करंट हैश 4 5 6 है. एक नया ये n+1 ब्लॉक है, और एक नया n+1 ब्लॉक कोई और माइनर कर रहा है. समझिए माइनर, ये माइनर 1 कर रहा है, ये माइनर 2 भी कर सकता है ऐसे, जहाँ पे उसका हैश 7 8 9 है, बट उसका प्रीवियस हैश तो 1 2 3 है. तो ये ब्लॉक जो है, यहाँ से ये एक ब्रांच बना, यहाँ से एक ब्रांच बना, यहाँ पे ये ब्लॉक है, यहाँ पे एक ये ब्लॉक है. इन दोनों का प्रीवियस हैश सेम होगा क्योंकि प्रीवियस हैश इज इक्वल टू दिस, बट ये जो नया हैश है वो डिफरेंट होगा, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट इससे जो नया बनेगा उसका नया हैश ये होगा.
Okay. Okay. And that can be malicious. Okay. Got it.
यस यस. एक और चीज थी, अब यार थोड़ा 10:45 हो गए, तो देयर इज वन थिंग व्हिच आई वांटेड टू कवर. कितने लोग बचे अभी भी? 19 हो गए. अच्छा, तो वी कैन कवर दिस. एक कोई क्वेश्चन आ गया है. फॉर अ ट्रांजैक्शन आईडी पेज, फॉर अ ट्रांजैक्शन डी पेज माइनर, डू वी नॉट नीड अ यूनिक सिग्नेचर इफ दैट इज नॉट प्रेजेंट? हाउ कैन द ब्लॉक बी पब्लिश्ड? अरे तो यूनिक ट्रांजैक्शन है ही नहीं ना, इन द सेंस दैट दैट ट्रांजैक्शन इज मैलिशियस. ये ट्रांजैक्शन ही झूठी है, बट माइनिंग कर ली है. मतलब the guy is cunning in the sense that he forged the signatures, sort of. So, समझ लो ऐसे. This is one thing I wanted to cover, the economics of mining. I don't know how much time we all have. I'll try to cover this in 10 minutes. Okay. End में सवाल लूंगा, अभी सवाल लूंगा नहीं. तो this is a question which is very important about understanding why people even mine. Like, हाँ ये theory समझना सही बात है कि mining is something very great. Mining के वजह से Bitcoin is happening. It is creating a revolution, everything. But why should someone even mine? Why should you become a miner? Why should anyone even mine in their right minds? So this is all boiling down to economics. And that is something which is very important. And as a person who sort of understands both economics and blockchain, this is a very interesting way of looking at how mining is done. So business model क्या है? Very simply speaking, माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड जो है यहाँ पे जो 6.25 मिलता है हर ब्लॉक का, दैट इज योर रेवेन्यू. ये जो कंप्यूटिंग कॉस्ट है, द कॉस्ट ऑफ कंप्यूटिंग समथिंग, कि ये जो तुम्हारे सीपीयू लिया, समझो जीपीयू ले लिया, और वो जीपीयू समझो ईएमआई पे ले ली, तो यू कैन कैलकुलेट महीने का कितना कॉस्ट है, यू कैन कैलकुलेट दिन का कितना कॉस्ट है, और यू कैन कैलकुलेट पर सेकंड तुम्हारा कितना कॉस्ट है. और फिर तुम्हारी एनर्जी कॉस्ट, दैट एनर्जी कॉस्ट इज द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी विच यू आर पेइंग whatever kilowatt hours. And then what is profit? Revenue minus expenses. When revenue is greater than expenses, it is profit. When expenses is greater than revenues, this is loss. Pure 8th standard mathematics. So why should a person even mine in the first place? So one thing to understand is when a miner successfully mines, they get a block reward of 6.25 Bitcoin. That is something which we have established. So Bitcoin mines roughly every 10 minutes. That is also something we've established. And the reward initially started with 50 Bitcoin, and now it halves every 210,000 blocks. So there are a finite number of Bitcoins, and this is why it's important, because किसी भी चीज अगर finite होगी तो उसकी price eventually बढ़ती है. Why do we consider gold important? Why do we even buy so much gold? That's because gold is a finite resource, and we assume that gold has some intrinsic value, and that's why we are willing to pay lots of money for it. That's why when somebody has Bitcoin, we are assuming this is going to have value in the future. So this is a game of incentives. We are supposed to incentivize everybody in this network to work towards a common good, and that is why as somebody asked, it has not been broken in all of these years from 2009 till now. इसलिए अब तक ब्रेक नहीं हुआ है, because सबके incentives अच्छे से align हुए हैं, and that is a very clever way of looking at it. So personal incentives and aligning them. So दो parties है इधर, clients and miners. So let's look at each person's incentives. First of all, a client is someone who wants to keep the network secure. I am a client. I have bought some Bitcoin, and I just want to ensure that this Bitcoin does not go away. Like some malicious people don't try to steal my Bitcoin or something. That is my incentive. I want to keep the network secure. What is a miner? A miner is a person who is simply here to make money. That is it. Now, a client is also incentivized for keeping the network secure. One is he wants it secure right now, but he also wants the network's computing power, all of the computing power, to go towards keeping the network secure. He doesn't want the computing power to go towards hacking it. Okay. On the other end, miners just want to use their computational power to reward. So we have to align both of these parties to ensure that we are working towards a common goal. Now, how is that done? So how are we now aligning this incentive? Again, we have two parties. Clients, they wanted to stay secure. So what we do is we are letting the miners earn this reward. We are saying कि अच्छा ठीक है, हमारे pocket से तो नहीं जाएगा. It's not going to go out of our pocket, but that person is going to earn some amount of money. And we are incentivizing them to earn this money by letting them use their computational power to keep this network up. The miners, on the other hand, they can estimate As I said, if you take a graphics card on EMI, you can see how much you are paying per second by dividing. So you can estimate ki, okay, there are let's say 100 miners, and out of that I am one miner, and all of us are equally strong in terms of mining. So I will on average mine one out of every 100 blocks. Is that clear? Like basic probability, one out of every 100 blocks I will mine, because I am one out of the 100 miners here on average. So then I can estimate that if I'm going to mine one block every 100 blocks, and if 100 blocks takes 10 into 10 minutes, so 1000 minutes, so how much money can I earn per 1000 minutes? So how much money can I earn per second? And is that revenue more than the cost of electricity per second and EMI of whatever graphics card per second? So as long as the revenue is greater than expense, I have an incentive to mine. And that is how the incentives are now aligned. Okay, this is a very important thing to understand. This is why people are not hacking it, because you are going to earn more profit by working with the system than you are going to working against the system. That is why it has stood the test of time. It isn't because it's some mathematical marvel. It's because it is economically amazing. Economics समझ के बनाया है, जिसी ने भी बनाया है. They have understood economics well, and they've understood that these are two parties which work here, and they want to align their incentives to ensure that a system will work forever. Forever, matlab till 2030, whenever that the mining stops. Okay, this is very important to understand. Incentives are aligned. So then what are mining pools? This is the only way somebody might be able to game the system or break the system. The problem of decentralized centralization. What does this mean? A mining pool is essentially a group of people who are coming together to mine. So I am a person who has, let's say, one graphics card. You have another, you are another person who has, let's say, two graphics cards. We say, acha, theek hai, chalo, let's start working together. If we mine 3 blocks, then I will get 1/3 of the profit. You get 2/3 of the profit. Tum log waise divide kar sakte ho. That we have created a small mining pool. There are international mining pools where there are people across the world who do this. So miners join mining pools to normalize returns. What does this mean? That means if there are 100 miners, and if I am one of the 100 miners, then I will on average get 1 out of the 100 blocks. But if I create a mining pool with 20 people, then I will get almost 1 out of every 5 blocks, because 20 divided by 100. So that way I am normalizing my return, because even if there is 1 block every 5 blocks I get, I'm still getting 1/20th of the profit. So I am eventually getting my 1/100. I am still profitable, but my probability increases, because samjho I am lucky at is bar, instead of 1 out of 5, I get 1 out of every 3 blocks. Then my profit becomes 1/60. So I'm increasing it. But some days I might have a bad day and I get 1 out of every 10 blocks or 1 out of every 20 blocks. Then to average out my returns, people join mining pools. Now that is because, again, law of large numbers is at play. And to cover the cost of coordinating these pools, you have to pay a small fee to join. That is the price you have to pay for normalizing your returns. Abhi jo maine bola, normalizing returns, this is what this does. Now, I think Moksh had asked in the first class, is there a possibility of a 51% attack in today's scenario because of mining pools? The answer is yes. It is definitely possible. And that is because there are 3 mining pools right now. 1, 2, 3. और ये जो 3 mining pools हैं, if they start working together, then they can easily do a 51% attack and the system can die. But as we said pehle, the economic incentives are aligned in such a way that it is actually better for these guys to work to keep the system together than it is for them to go and around hacking it. Because agar ye system tootne lagegi, then people will understand that something is happening. Then the price of Bitcoin will become $0. Then the reason why these guys did a 51% attack in the first place will no longer be useful. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone? Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. And now this is just again a small section. What is mining hardware? What can we use? So there are 3 types of main hardware. One is CPUs. अपने Intel i5, i7 laptop grade, desktop grade CPUs. The problem is they are very slow. Slow as in compared to the other alternatives. They are very power inefficient. If you have seen, whenever your laptop does anything, it gets really hot. Like if you are playing a game or if you are like rendering a video, then the laptop gets very hot. That's because it's very power inefficient, because it loses a lot of energy to heat. And the third thing is they're costly. Like for the processing power you're getting, they are costly. That's why the cost is more than revenue, and that's why CPUs are not a profitable thing for mining. Then there are GPUs. We all know GPUs, Nvidia, then all of these other companies. So they are fast. They are much faster than CPUs. They are also more power efficient to do this, because like cooling अच्छे से होता है and things like that. But again, they are still costly. So cost can be greater or can be lesser than revenue, but it is only greater in large numbers. Matlab, if you have 100 3080s, 3080 Ti's, it's a type of graphic card for people who don't know. 3080 Ti is the name of a graphic card, and it's a very powerful graphic card. If you have hundreds of these, then there is a chance that you can make a profit. There's a chance, there's a very good chance, because agar samjho ek ka, there is a chance that you made 1% profit, but now you have 100. So the law of large numbers plays out here. And that is why Bitcoin farms use either this or the next innovation I'm going to talk about. This is a image of a Bitcoin farm. Basically, these are these massive warehouses of hundreds of thousands of graphics cards and other things. And all they do is air conditioned hota hai and everything. And all they do is they mine. That's it. And then the rewards they get from them is then used to pay for these costs, and then bacha hua profit people use. The third thing is an ASIC. ASIC का नाम क्या होता है? Application Specific Integrated Circuit. Let's break this down one by one. Integrated circuit, अपना transistor. Okay, every single transistor has an integrated circuit. Then application specific. An application specific thing means something which can only do one thing. In this case, this can only do hashing. It can't do anything else. You can't run a game on it. You can't run an operating system on it. It can't do anything else. All it can do is hashing all day. But it is very good at hashing. It is the fastest thing you can get to hash. So it is very fast. It is very power efficient, but it's also very costly because it's a specialized thing. Very, very specialized hardware. इसमें पक्का revenue greater than cost होता है, for sure, because you are paying something which is purpose built for doing this. But the problem here is upfront cost बहुत ज़्यादा है. तुम्हारा costly बहुत हो जाता है, upfront cost बहुत ज़्यादा है. And finally, most mining pools and Bitcoin farms have shifted to this nowadays simply because they have enough money and they understand the incentives. Ki in the long term, if we buy only ASICs instead of this, we will be able to make a lot more money than we are making right now using just graphics cards. That's why if you look at this image also, these are all actually ASICs. These are not graphics cards. So this is just a quick explainer on the economics behind mining. This is why mining is important to understand, and understanding why people mine is also very important, not just understanding what nonsense and things like that. This is going to help you when you look at different cryptocurrencies. In the next week, we are going to talk about what cryptocurrencies are, how they have made certain mining policies. They are called different consensus mechanisms. Like there's something called proof of work, which we discussed. There is something called proof of stake. There is something called proof of burn. So consensus mechanisms ke basis pe people have decided whether they should mine for that particular currency or not. And that is what we will cover in next week. So thank you. Do you guys have any questions on the economics part specifically? Can we get these slides? I will upload them at some point. What do you mean by when the mining stops? Why would anyone stop if nobody will mine? Yeah. So as we said here, Sagar, good question again. Let that slide go. The total number of Bitcoins in the world are going to be 21 million. There is going to come a point when there is 21 million. इसके ऊपर कोई print ही नहीं होगी, मतलब कोई mine ही नहीं होगी. Nobody can create it. It's hard coded into the system. The reason for that is Sagar, if you've done geometric progressions in school, then you know कि अगर समझो कोई नंबर 50 से चालू होता है और हाफ होता है तो उसका बनता है 25, फिर 12.5, फिर अभी 6.25 है, if we see Bitcoin halving countdown नाम की एक चीज होती है, this website, we can see that right now it is 6.25 and it will decrease to 3.125 and that will happen in 1176 days. ऐसे half होते जाएगा to the point where it doesn't become zero, but it becomes like infinitesimally small, because it will become 1 by 2 power n, like whatever 50 by 2 power n, 50 समझ लो, 150 नहीं है. तो इतना छोटा नंबर जब होगा, जब n बहुत इंक्रीज करेगा, then the mining का profit will not be enough. But there is more to that, मतलब there is a bit more nuance to that, कि अगर उस टाइम पे एक बिटकॉइन की कॉस्ट अगर समझो 1 मिलियन हो गई, तो then even a fractional bitcoin will be able to take care of the profit. So that is how you can approach this from the economics perspective. So any doubts on this economics part?
Yeah, I have a doubt. Like अगर माइनर्स ने अपना काम बंद कर दिया तो फिर what will be the future of Bitcoin? Like अब कोई ट्रांजेक्शंस होगा तो कैसे रिकॉर्ड होंगे अगर माइनर्स काम
नहीं
नहीं
होंगे.
करेंगे?
अगर माइनर्स सारे बंद कर देते हैं उनका माइनिंग, then Bitcoin will stop, because miners will, like miners are the service providers, right? Like we talked about. So once this service stops, then transactions will all stop.
तो एक पॉइंट ऐसा आएगा ना जहाँ पे माइनिंग प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं रहेंगे और माइनर्स स्टॉप हो जाएंगे, तो फिर ट्रांजेक्शन कैसे होंगे?
फिर people will switch from Bitcoin to Ethereum or some other cryptocurrency.
अच्छा, ओके.
But again, that day is very far away. For example, if you see here 1176 days until it goes from 6.25 to 3.125, that is very far away. That is like 4 years, right? 365 से divided, हाँ almost 4 years है. 4 साल में हाफ होगा, उसके बाद थोड़े और साल में हाफ होगा, उसके बाद थोड़े और साल में हाफ होगा, तो 2030 या 2040 तक लगेगा. तो till then there is going to be somebody, some genius who creates a beautiful solution to this, and they will be able to solve this issue, because 20 years is a long time. So that is what we are banking on. What do you mean by when we stop? हाँ वो कर लिया answer. That's why there are so many cryptos. That question we will answer in next week, why there are so many cryptos. Oh, it's 2140. Thanks Naman. 2140. Oh god, अगर वैसा है तो 120 years में कोई ना कोई तो इसका solution निकाल ही देगा. So miners will be incentivized with transaction fees after the bitcoins are mined. I was going to, I actually didn't want to get into the whole transaction fees thing. That is something which I'm going to cover in cryptocurrencies, which is the next week. Because the reason why all of these other all of these Ethereum and things work is they have something called transaction fees. Even Bitcoin does, but Bitcoin का बहुत ही कम है, whereas other things have relatively very high transaction fees, and that is something which we'll cover in the next one. Are gas fees the same as the amount paid to miners collectively? No, gas fees is transaction fees. Gas transaction, same thing. Ethereum has no cap, it is limited. Ethereum का actually cap का मेरे को exact पता नहीं, मेरे को गूगल करना पड़ेगा. थैंक्स दिव्यांशु. Ethereum का अपन गूगल कर सकते हैं, Ethereum max tokens, max total supply cap. Ethereum doesn't have a total supply cap.
I think it doesn't have any.
हाँ, so yeah, Moksh, the answer to your question is limit नहीं है. और actually बात ऐसी है कि अभी Ethereum जो है, that is in Ethereum 1.0. तो Ethereum 1.0 is proof of work. Again यार ये सब चीजें मेरे को next week cover करनी है, but Ethereum 2.0 is something which we are moving towards, and that is definitely not having a cap. That has infinite supply, infinite demand. तो वो we will cover next week.
सर मैं एक ट्रांजैक्शन पूल रिगार्डिंग डाउट था. हेलो. हाँ तो जैसे ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में मान ले 4 वो है ट्रांजैक्शन है, तो हर एक माइनर सारी ट्रांजैक्शन लेता है या फिर माइनर 1 ने 2 ट्रांजैक्शन ले लिए, कोई माइनर 2 ने खाली 1 ट्रांजैक्शन लिया उनमें से, या फिर वो सारे ट्रांजैक्शन लेते हैं और फिर वैसे होता है?
देखो हर ब्लॉक का ना एक ब्लॉक लिमिट होता है कि 100 ट्रांजैक्शंस इसमें ब्लॉक में होंगे, एंड देन द माइनर पिक्स अप दोज 100 ट्रांजैक्शंस. कोई भी 100 उठा देता है, समझ उस पूल में 1000 ट्रांजैक्शंस है, तो माइनर ए ने अगर पहले 100 उठाए तो दैट डजंट मीन कि माइनर भी पहले 100 ही उठाए, लास्ट के 100 भी उठा सकता है.
वो डाउट था कि ये मान ले ओवरलैप हो गया, मतलब सेम उठा लिया और एक का वेरीफाई हुआ और दूसरे का वेरीफाई नहीं हुआ। तो मान ले 4 ट्रांजैक्शन है 1 2 3 4।
हाँ
पहले माइनर ने 1 2 3 उठा लिए और
हाँ
दूसरे वाले ने 2 3 4 उठा लिए।
हाँ
तो बेसिकली माइनर 1 ने नॉन्स पा लिया और वो ब्लॉक क्रिएट हो गया। तो जो सेकंड वाले का था उसका 2 3 4 था ना उसके पास, तो
हाँ
वो 2 3 मेरे ख्याल से ऑलरेडी हो चुका है माइन।
हाँ हाँ।
तो उससे क्या होगा?
तो देर आर टू केसेस टू दिस। द फर्स्ट वन इज माइनर वन जिसने 1 2 3 उठाए हैं, वो पहले ब्लॉक बना देता है बिफोर 2 3 4 वाला ब्लॉक जो माइनर भी बनाता है। देन माइनर माइनर टू जो है उसको वो ब्रॉडकास्ट का मैसेज आ जाता है कि इसने ये ब्लॉक बना दिया। और देन व्हाट माइनर टू डज इज उसने जो भी काम अभी चालू किया ना सब सॉर्ट ऑफ फेक देता है। जो भी अब तक काम किया है ही सॉर्ट ऑफ डिलीट्स कि मतलब स्टार्ट फ्रॉम स्क्रैच करना है। तो वो पहले वो ब्लॉक वेरीफाई कर देता है, अगर ब्लॉक वेरीफाइड है तो ऐड कर देता है अपने चेन में, मतलब अपने लेजर में। और फिर वो जो ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में है उसमें से नए 100 उठा लेता है, मतलब तेरे केस में नए 3 ट्रांजैक्शन उठा लेता है। तो ओवरलैप का इशू नहीं आता। अब तू बोल रहा है कि देयर माइट बी अ केस जहां पे 2 कन्फ्लिक्टिंग ब्लॉक्स एक साथ आ जाते हैं। तो एज यू नो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दिस जस्ट गोइंग टू बी वन चेन। तो जो भी ब्लॉक है समझो माइनर ए का जिसने 1 2 3 उठाया था, उसका फाइनल में ब्लॉक जो है दैट इज नॉट एडेड। तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज जो पहला ट्रांजैक्शन था वो वेरीफाई नहीं हुआ तो वो वापस ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में जाता है। बट जो ट्रांजैक्शन 2 और ट्रांजैक्शन 3 था वो तो वेरीफाई हो चुके, तो वो वापस ट्रांजैक्शन पूल में जाते नहीं, वो निकल जाते हैं, वो डिस्कार्ड हो जाता है।
गॉट इट। तो मतलब स्क्रैच से ही होता है।
हाँ
ब्लॉक्स में लिमिटेशन नहीं होता ना, हम 50 ट्रांजैक्शन भी ले सकते हैं, 100 भी ले सकते हैं।
नहीं नहीं, लिमिट होता है, देयर इज अ सेट लिमिट और उतने ही लेने हैं। यू कांट टेक लेस, यू कांट टेक मोर, देयर इज अ सेट नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस व्हिच हैपन एंड दैट सेट नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस चेंजेस। मतलब पहले ट्रांजैक्शंस 1 MB के होते थे, अब ट्रांजैक्शन मतलब अब पहले ब्लॉक साइज 1 MB होता था, अब ब्लॉक साइज 4 MB। तो व्हेन समबडी डिसाइड्स कि ओके अब 4 MB का 8 MB कर लेंगे, 16 MB कर लेंगे, तो देन द नंबर कैन चेंज। So can we take the economics? So can we take the economics part of this and use only the technology? Sure, sure, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody here wants to understand the nitty-gritties and everything. And the reason these first 2 classes were a little technical is because I wanted to make sure कि अगर कोई बाद में तुम्हें बोलेगा कि ओ भाई इसका ये नॉन्स है उसका ये है, then you guys shouldn't be like अरे यार मैंने तो एक पूरा ब्लॉकचेन का कोर्स किया और मेरे को पता नहीं नॉन्स नहीं है. That is why this particular the first 2 classes are a bit technical because these are covering all of these terms कि अच्छा ये नॉन्स होता है, ये ब्लॉक होता है, ये ब्लॉक रिवॉर्ड होता है, ये हैश होता है, ये चीजें, ताकि कोई बाद में ऐसे तुम्हारा चूतिया नहीं काट पाएगा बेसिकली। तो दैट इज वन थिंग व्हिच आई वांट टू डू। ये जो आगे के क्लासेस है दे आर गोइंग टू बी अ लिटिल लेस टेक्निकल, दे आर गोइंग टू बी मोर फोकस्ड ऑन तो ये इवेंट क्यों होता है, ये इसके पीछे के इकोनॉमिक्स क्या है, थिंग्स लाइक दैट।
Athar, I have one doubt. So you said about that economics of mining, right?
Yeah.
So you said about as like hashing rate की आपने बात की थी, तो मुझे जानना था कि यार वो हैशिंग रेट से कितने बिटकॉइन जनरेट, कितने ब्लॉक्स जनरेट किए जा सकते हैं, वो कैसे डिटरमाइन होगा?
यार एक हैश रेट कैलकुलेटर होता है, तो तुम ऐसे देख सकते हो, टैब खुली थी आई थिंक कहीं तो, अच्छा नहीं, ये नहीं यार मैंने एक टैब खोली थी, आई एम रियली सॉरी मेरे को मिल नहीं रही है। बेसिकली व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन सी कि ये जो लास्ट 2 हफ्ते है उसमें इतना हैश पावर यूज हुआ, हैशेस पर सेकंड, और इतने ब्लॉक जनरेट हुए। तो समझो 100 ब्लॉक जनरेट हुए और 1000 हैशेस पर सेकंड था उस 2 वीक के पीरियड में। तो यू कैन देन लुक एट योर माइनिंग रिग एंड बी लाइक अगर मेरे पास 10 हैश रेट है तो मेरा ऑन एवरेज केस 0.1 ब्लॉक मिलेगा मुझे। अब फ्रैक्शनल ब्लॉक मिलता नहीं है तो दैट मीन्स तुम कहोगे कि ओवर 20 वीक पीरियड यू विल गेट 1 ब्लॉक।
मतलब मेरा वो माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड शेयर हो जाएगा फिर अगर 0.1
हाँ,
अपन बोलते हैं तो।
हाँ माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड शेयर होगा अगर तुम किसी माइनिंग पूल में हो। अगर तुम्हें ब्लॉक, अगर तुम अकेले हो और तुम्हें ब्लॉक मिलता नहीं है तो मिलता नहीं है, खत्म।
ओके, एंड वन मोर थिंग, यू सेड कि द बिटकॉइन का एक फायदा ये है कि सबका खुद का एक लेजर होता है एक तरह से। सो like everyone in this world has their own ledger, right? So उसमें जो ट्रांजैक्शन है, जो वेरीफाइड ट्रांजैक्शन है, तो इसका मतलब तो ये हुआ कि एक माइनर को सारी ट्रांजैक्शंस को वेरीफाई करना पड़ेगा।
नहीं यार, जो पहले लेजर में ऐड हो चुकी है पहले वाले ब्लॉक्स, दोज आर ऑल वेरीफाइड ना। वी आर अज्यूमिंग कि जो पहले आज तक
जैसे अभी हुई, जैसे मान लो जो कल होने वाली है एक ट्रांजैक्शन,
हाँ
सो कल 4 बजे जो ट्रांजैक्शन होने वाली है उसे दुनिया के हर माइनर को वेरीफाई करना पड़ेगा।
हाँ मतलब उस हाँ, एवरीबॉडी विल हैव टू वेरीफाई इट, एंड द पर्सन हु इज द लकी पर्सन जो ब्लॉक बनाता है और जिस ब्लॉक में वो ट्रांजैक्शन होगी और वो मेन चेन में ऐड होता है, देन उसको उसका फायदा मिलेगा essentially.
So it's like a race, right? कि मतलब
Yeah, it is a race. I said that,
करना
right?
सबको है, लेकिन जिसका ब्लॉक पहले मिल जाए।
हाँ मैंने बोला ना, इट्स एन आर्म्स रेस कि एवरीबॉडी इज डूइंग दिस। मैंने कहीं तो बोला था ये बात पीछे, इट्स एन आर्म्स रेस एंड एवरीबॉडी इज ट्राइंग टू विन। सो या, एनीथिंग एल्स? चलो यार, वैसे 11:15 हो गए। अगेन दिस एक्सटेंडेड वे बियॉन्ड व्हाट आई एक्सपेक्टेड। आई होप आवाज आ रही है मेरी यार। नेक्स्ट टाइम से ना, लेट्स ट्राई टू कीप अ हार्ड स्टॉप ऑफ 10:30। सो आई मीन लाइक 10:30 मे बी 10:40 तक वर्स्ट केस एक्सटेंड करेंगे, और उसके बाद थोड़ा लेट्स ट्राई टू इंश्योर। बट या अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, स्लाइड्स के बारे में आई विल अपलोड दिस यूट्यूब पे। ये जो वीडियो अपलोड करनी है, दैट ऑल्सो आई विल अपलोड इन सम टाइम। मतलब आई विल सेंड टू हरीश एंड हरीश डज द अपलोडिंग, सो दैट टेक्स सम टाइम। एंड या दैट्स प्रीटी मच इट गाइस। सी यू गाइस ऑन सैटरडे। और कोई भी डाउट होगा तो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे मैसेज कर दो, वी विल सी व्हाट वी कैन डू। चलो बाय गाइस, थैंक्स मोक्ष, थैंक्स गाइस, बाय बाय।